Hi guys, and welcome to the 12th episode of LuCookie Knits. Yeah, it's been a long time, but I decided for the first anniversary, if you can call it like that, when there was like a big gap in between, I wanted to record a new episode. So yeah, here it is. So there were several reasons why the podcast was not something I could focus on in my life during the last few months. So yeah, I think I will leave it with that for now. If you want to know something more about why there was this big gap and what happened in my life, I will probably film a short segment and put it at the end. So for today I have some works in progress, some finished objects, yeah, and also I will announce the people who won something in the knit-alongs that were running before I had this, yeah, before I was not filming anymore. So but because it was such a long time ago, I also will will PM everybody who wants something on Ravelry. So yeah, that's it. So as you might have noticed, the setting changed a bit. I got some feedback before I stopped filming that the lighting was not really good to see something, so I decided to move to the window and try filming here. Also, yeah, I'm filming with some kind of new equipment, at least new to me. It's something, yeah. Before things happened, my dad gave me his camera, so that's now how I'm filming, and so I also feel he's kind of, yeah, with me in doing this. So yeah, that's it for the introduction, and I think we should go on to works in progress. Welcome back to the first segment, which is the works in progress. So, you might remember that I'm a person that is always knitting on several projects at once. So, what happened this week is quite unusual. I restricted myself to 3 projects that I'm actively knitting on. Yeah, so I'm not sure if that will be a pattern or if that's something temporarily, or yeah, if I will stick to it. So yeah, the first thing I'm knitting on is a pair of vanilla socks out of Anna and Carlos yarn by Regia. It's a perfect skein, which should end up in um, two socks that look exactly the same. So that's the only reason why I started to knit them cuff down, which I don't normally do, but with this yarn it's kind of your only option if you don't want to cut the yarn in between and yeah, reattach it for the right place of your foot. But that's something I actually want to try with the next skein. So I might have bought the whole collection of 6 balls of yarn for this Anna and Carlos Regia Perfect yarn. Yeah, so yeah, that's coming along quite quickly. I just started it yesterday evening. And the other thing you saw, you might wonder what this is. This is, yeah, in German we call it Wollabwickler, where you can put your skein on top of it and then you can, yeah, pull and it turns so that the ball isn't jumping around or something while knitting, which is quite convenient if you have cats in your household who like to play with your skeins. Yeah. So this is the first thing I did knit on a bit this week. Then also maybe you saw my Instagram post yesterday. I also restarted to knit the Hitofude, which is this small beginning of a cardigan that I knit out of a big skein of Woolmeise lace yarn. I don't think it has a colorway name because it was one of those sold at the summer sale that are not quite right in her eyes. But yeah, it's got greens and yeah, mostly greens, lighter and darker ones, and yeah, it seems to pool at the moment, which I think is quite fun, but I'm sure that will change during the process of knitting. And the problem with this one right now is that I stopped knitting on this probably around the same time that I yeah, recorded my last podcast episode, so I'm not quite sure if my gauge changed. As for now, I can hardly see any difference between this part I knit yesterday and this part here I knit some months ago, so fingers crossed that it will end up being okay. Yeah, that's all I can say. Oh, I'm knitting this on Knit Pro Zing needles, which kind of are becoming my second favorite needles. Directly, you can't beat Chagoo needles, but those are also okay. And this is 3.25 millimeters, which should be something around the US 4. Not quite sure yet. Not quite sure at the moment, but yeah. So, and then the last thing I did knit on, and it's also something that I stopped around knitting around the time I stopped podcasting, is my scrap blanket. And I went nuts on this thing last week, so I think it's kind of, I did not know what I wanted to knit, and so I, yeah, just started knitting square after square after square. It has a reasonable size by now, so I think it might be around the width of a normal blanket you would use, or a normal quill you would use, but I'm extending it by one row on this side and another row on this side, so that it is a little wider than a normal blanket. Yeah. So this is the middle right here where I changed the direction, as you might see. And I will go on and knit on this for yeah, maybe the same number of squares of rows, which is 7 by now, which would be 14 as a half and 28 as a full. I think that would be good. So yeah, I think when I stopped, I had the whole row here on top not knit, and I think 2 or 3 rows on this side unused. So I think in total I knit about 20 squares last week, which went really, really well. But now I'm kind of running out of colors to add, because all the colors I have left are somewhat like in the browns or beige, or yeah, just like not that colorful, and I like to mix them up with like really colorful ones. So at the moment I'm kind of debating if I should put this into hibernation until I get some new yeah, new mini skeins. Yeah, so I'm knitting this on 4mm needles, which is, I think, US 6. Not quite sure. This is a single point. And yeah, so that's it for my works in progress. Okay, so for finished objects now, after all this time I have like several that you did not see, but I only grabbed those I knit recently. Plus one I'm wearing, which is the featherweight cardigan that I finished in the meantime. Yeah, so first of all, I finished a pair of socks recently, which are out of opal yarn in their sparkly base. I'm not quite sure if it will focus. Yeah, probably. You can see. Those is the Strawberry Fields pattern by, I'm not quite sure who wrote this pattern. I think this is one of their surprise, of the Opal Surprise yarns, which came out last year. So, and I made them kind of short socks for summer, but as sometimes I did not wave in the ends yet, so yeah. This Strawberry Fields pattern was kind of fun to knit, and it was easy enough to knit it on the go. And yeah, they were knit on 2.5mm needles, which I'm not really into this anymore. I can't remember. US 2? Just a wild guess here. So this is the first object I finished. Then I started the Hail Bob Mystery Knit Along by Amber Knits. Probably back in February. Sounds about right. And I just recently finished it. And this is like the ginormous Hail Bob shawl that is the result of this knit along. Again, no ends woven in. Yeah, so as you did not see it yet, not on social media, and I also did not podcast during that time. I used as the first color the Cybox Craft Room yarn, which makes me so sad that she passed away and isn't dying anymore. So yeah, this was from the Stockinette Zombies birthday kit. The I think it was called Orange Hue Glided Pink or something. Yeah, so the second color here, this minty speckly one, is yarn by Miss Mothballs, and it's called Einhornfuchs. And the third skein, the gray, is just some citron yarn. I think it's called Silk Road or something. It has a content of silk, and it's a little thicker than the other ones, but it's quite nice with the other two yarns. So I was thinking I should probably wave in the ends and wear it, because I really like how it turned out, and also it has a kind of interesting shape, which is half circle-ish here, and then extends in this long section over here. Yeah, so I really like how it turned out, but again, I'm lazy and I don't like waving in ends. That's why I did not wear it yet. The third finished object is something, I don't know if I showed it on the podcast or if I started it later than that, but it's something I always wanted to knit. Like, since I saw the pattern, I just wanted to have it. And last year, for I think about around the time of my, I don't know if this tradition exists in other countries. It's, you don't, in a Catholic surrounding here in Germany, you don't necessarily celebrate your birthday, but more like the day when you are named saint, that is assigned to your name saint. So for me that would be Saint Catherine, and that's around the 25th of November. So coming from a Catholic house, I got to celebrate both days. So my mom always would give me like small present for my name day, and yeah, I would celebrate my birthday just as anybody else would. So last year for my name day, my mom gave me a yarn that I needed and wanted to knit a Ginny's cardigan out of. So I finished it, and you probably know this lacy back section. You might have seen it. So many people have knit this pattern, and I really like it. This pattern is out of the unofficial Harry Potter knits, which you could not buy in Germany, so I had to find my way to the pattern at the time, because I bought the unofficial Harry Potter knits as soon as it came out. Yeah, I had to get a bit creative, but it worked. So this was lying there and staring at me, and I was like, okay, now it's time to knit this. So I knit this out of Drops yarn. It's the Drops Merino. It's a DK weight yarn, which is superwash, 100% merino. And while I was knitting that, I was like, oh, this could be a little smallish, or on the small side, but superwash yarn, and it grew, and so it fits perfectly now. The only thing that is always an issue for me knitting any cardigan or jumper or pullover pattern that there is in this world, the arms tend always to be much too long. So I remember I was sitting with Kerstin and Sarah in Wuppertal. We had a little meetup, and I was saying like, I think the arms are getting way too long, and they were like, oh no, trust the pattern. And so I decided, yeah, I was gonna trust the pattern, and but at some point I tried the arm on and was like, that's gonna be too long, because it's set in, it's a kind of a construction from the bottom up, where you knit the arms first, or you knit up to here and then you knit the arms. So you only have to, you need the length of the arm until your armpit, and this was going to be too long, so I decided to modify it and just stop at some point. Yeah, and although I have done this, they are a little on the long side. Okay, so yeah, the camera stopped because maybe because I was rambling on about this sweater, but anyways, I like it. The only thing I have to do now is find some very nice buttons, and then I can wear this. So this was all the knitting finished objects I have. I have 2 more finished objects that I spun. This skein is a Navajo plied 3-ply yarn, which was a bed by Ätherische Öle and more. So it's actually a gradient that starts with purple, then goes into this purple, and then goes into this burgundy and this orange, and ends with this lime green. So I was thinking I should knit something Halloweeny out of this. Not quite sure what it will be yet, but yeah, there should be enough yardage to knit something very nice out of this. And the other skein is also a 3-ply Navajo plied, because that's what I go to, what I can do easily, where I don't have something left over, which I think is always kind of really sad when spinning, having these bits, yeah, that are left over. So this is a BFL fiber by Lieblingsstück, which is a local to me yarn dyer, and it has greens and purples. Yeah, so this is extra soft. It's even softer than the merino, and that's why BFL is my go-to fiber. So if I can have BFL or something else, I will choose the BFL. Yeah, so that's it for finished objects. And now the only official segment left, I guess, is the knit-along section, where I will announce all the winners of the knit-alongs and giveaways that were ongoing. So first, I really want to apologize that this all got like delayed by so many months, but I was nowhere near podcasting during some of the time, and there were so many things that had to be organized. This got all like shoved in, which it got lost on me, and I'm really sorry that this happened, but I can't change it in any way. Also, yeah, other than now announcing the winners and directly notifying them, and yeah, hoping that you can kind of understand what happened here. So first, for the Herbstblatt along, Regina graciously offered a skein of her yarn from her shop, which I choose a winner for, and that is Janet BR. This is your Ravelry name, and I will contact Regina and say that you won this. So congratulations. Also, there were 2 patterns. There could be one in the Herbstblatt along, and those patterns go to Laterna and Vitazina. So congratulations, you both. Then the second knit along, there was the Connecting Continents knit along, which I co-hosted with Tiffany of the Knitting from the Mitten podcast. I'm not quite sure if she renamed her podcast, but she just started her Etsy shop, which is the Wool and Homestead. So yeah, So for this knit along, just a moment. Both Tiffany and I each dyed a skein up of, she dyed one up and I dyed one up. So the first skein dyed by her, first winner. This is the skein Tiffany dyed up with all these beautiful oranges and yellows and blues. It's called Michigan Sunset, and this was won by Al McCall. Congratulations. So the second skein that I dyed up, which is this one, it's inspired by Nymphadora Tonks from Harry Potter, and it's called Don't Put Your Wand There. And this one goes to Fireboy Wife. Congratulations. So there were also 2 winners of patterns that I drew from the Cheddar thread of the Connecting Continents knit along, and the winners were Ausnein, and again Jeanette BR. Congratulations. So the third thing that was open was the giveaway for the 100 members in the podcast group, which was a giveaway for a skein of Ätherische Öle and mehr, which is this beautiful orange and burgundy skein, which has no colorway name, but it's 100 gram sock yarn, dyed in Germany. And this was won by Sheeps 3. So congratulations to all the winners, and probably we will have another knit along in the future, but first I have to see how it works podcasting again, and also if I can do that. Also there will be a short break of podcasting because my husband and I are gonna do our honeymoon trip, which we delayed for 2 years. So yeah, that's it for the main part of the podcast. And yeah, I think it was a shorter episode, and if you want to know something more about the stuff that happened and the personal stuff, you can stay tuned. If you don't want, I want to say thank you for watching, and also thank you for all the lovely messages that came to me during the last month. Yeah. Bye. Okay, so in this segment I want to talk a bit about what happened during the last months and why I was not podcasting anymore. So as some of you may have known, last September my dad passed away. He was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, I think late in 2011. So it was something that we knew would happen, but that I kind of didn't want to acknowledge. Like I didn't want to think about that this was an option, like clearly the only option. He survived pancreatic cancer for almost 6 years, which is kind of a long time. Most of the times it's diagnosed way too late and you can't do anything. He got a special surgery done right in the beginning. After that he was sometime declared cancer-free, but then liver metastasis, tumors in the liver were found in 2013. So yeah, that was kind of a very difficult time for me. Soon after that, we got another horrible message, which I can't spread into the open. It has to do with my husband's mother. But it's not I'm not at a place to tell you what happened. So those two things combined really knocked us over, and we needed time to think and to recover from the things happening. This time was a really difficult time for us, which in the end brought our family closer together. like I'm an only child. I only have my mom left, so there are no sisters or brothers or something. But my husband, he has 3 sisters and his dad, and so there was like a really, yeah, it was a grieving time. I also want to say that in the beginning it seemed easier to deal with it than it is now, because after some time you've only realized what happened, and yeah, it gets real. So there were times before where I did not talk to my dad in like months, but now it's like, yeah, it's really a long time, and I think we had a connection somehow. So yeah, just wanted you to know this is what happened. Um, yeah, and why there was no podcasts. Um, I don't want to feel like sorry or something for this, because it's just life, and it's something I felt I needed to have this time. So yeah, on a happier note, now I think we are getting better, and so I think only the right thing to do is start podcasting again. So yeah, again, thank you and goodbye until the next episode.